I feel as if some things should just be understood without an explanation. But in today's day and age, you have to explain to people why something is wrong. Because the lines between right and wrong have been blurred. Things that were once viewed as good are now viewed as bad. Things that were once viewed as bad are now viewed as good. So a lot of people are stuck in this state of confusion. They're not able to decipher for themselves the difference between what is right and what is wrong. So you have to sit down and break these things down for these people like they're 5 years old. Because somewhere along the way of this journey that humanity is on, we have lost sight of what is right and what is wrong. Now, there used to be a universal understanding. Don't get me wrong, some things are acceptable in some cultures that aren't acceptable in others, but there were some things that were just universally understood. But that is no longer the case. Now, I've been talking about JoJo Siwa and this awkward transition from her being a child star to her now trying to have like this edgy, bad girl image. I don't know what she's going for. Half the time she looks like Joe Dirt. The other half of the time she looks like a Kiss reject. I honestly don't know what she's going for. I just know whatever she's going for, it's cringy. It's not working. You need to fire the team behind creating this image for you because this is backfiring dramatically. But personally, I think that this should go without having to be explained, but I'll explain it for you today because I have to. Personally, I think it's wrong for JoJo Siwa to be doing this right now. Because JoJo Siwa built an audience of kids. JoJo Siwa built her entire career off of appealing to 8 and 9-year-olds. JoJo Siwa, her family, the team behind her, they know what they've been doing. They've been trying to appeal to kids with JoJo Siwa for years, right? And then all of a sudden, within the flip of a switch, within a snap of a finger, JoJo Siwa just totally changes. Her image changes. The things she says and does, it changes. You were comfortable with your little kids looking up to JoJo Siwa when she was skipping around all colorful with berets in her hair. And then the next day, all of a sudden, JoJo Siwa is rubbing on her vagina on stage. And you're trying to figure out what in the hell is going on here, right? And I think that's wrong. That's like, let's say if I sat down on YouTube one day and I was upset that my subscribers were watching my video. This is the audience I built. I didn't build an audience of 8-year-olds like JoJo Siwa, but this is the audience I built. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow expecting to have a completely different audience. But that's what's happening with JoJo. You see, if you have a fan base and you have an audience of people who look up to you, listen to your music, watch your stuff, buy your products or whatever, you can't expect them to all of a sudden overnight turn into a bunch of gay adults who are now supporting the next leg of your career. That's just not how life works. The 9-year-olds who are looking up to you yesterday didn't all of a sudden turn 21 today because you decided to drink on stage and rub on your vajayjay. So what she is doing is wrong. And everyone should know it's wrong because she's not an adult performer. She's like the equivalent of the Wiggles when I was growing up. Do you all remember the Wiggles? What was that one song they had? It was a smash hit. Fruit salad, yummy, yummy. A fruit salad, Oh, yummy, yummy. That's JoJo Siwa. What if the Wiggles woke up tomorrow and is like, hey, we're going to jerk off on stage and we're going to start doing a bunch of weird, degenerate nonsense? How would people feel? What if Barney woke up tomorrow and decided that he wanted to screw other male Tyrannosaurus purple Rexes on stage and got up there in like BDSM gear and started getting all hypersexual? People would have a problem. But that's the same thing with JoJo Siwa. JoJo Siwa is not just a person. She's a character that was created to appeal to kids. And now this character is on stage doing sexual things, drinking alcohol, rubbing on herself, and her audience didn't change overnight. She has the same audience, the same fan base. All of the fans that were, oh yeah, we love her berets and her colorful gear. They're all the same people who are now watching her act a fool. Now, obviously, child stars get older. And I think that child stars are allowed to be an adult one day. They're allowed to start making content and music or TV shows or whatever that appeals to older people. There's nothing wrong with that, but there needs to be some sort of transition period. And I need to see that you're not trying to toe the line. But you see, with JoJo Siwa, they're fully aware that her fan base is still a bunch of kids. But they're trying to make more adult content while at the same time towing the line, because this adult content and music and stuff that JoJo Siwa is creating now, it's not necessarily being promoted and marketed towards older people. It's not even being promoted and marketed towards people who are JoJo Siwa's age, 21. It's being marketed and promoted to basically the same exact people who her little colorful berets and bows were being promoted to. And, you know, I've been pointing this out and I've been calling it out. Yes, I do. And I'm not a pearl clutcher. But I do have a problem with JoJo Siwa rubbing herself on stage, knowing that there's a bunch of kids watching this. And I've had some pushback. I've had people try to argue with me or tell me, no, that's not the case at all. That's not true. Well, since people think that there weren't kids in the audience, I think it's absolutely hilarious that during the performance, before JoJo Siwa decides to rub on her kitty cat on stage, she literally points out a 6-year-old in the crowd. Let's go ahead and roll this clip, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Bitches, there is a 6-year-old right there. Why the fuck are you here? I love it. I am so here for it. You're awesome, dude. Bitches.
So you notice there's a kid in the crowd. You proceed to cuss. And then you proceed to go about business as usual. And you touch all over yourself. You come out there with a freaking camel toe. I don't know if it's the costume. I don't know if it was on purpose or what. But you come out there with the camel toe all in everyone's faces. You're belligerently, oh, look, it's a 6-year-old. What are you doing here? What the F? And then you proceed to rub on yourself, rub on other people, and have other people rub on you, knowing that there's a 6-year-old in the crowd. And the funny part is, she points out the 6-year-old like, what are you doing here? That's your fan. I can guarantee you that the majority of the people in the crowd watching you either don't know you or don't care that you're there. The 6-year-old, that's your fan. That's your fan base. Why is JoJo Siwa pretending to be surprised when she sees 8 and 9-year-olds in the crowd, as if she wasn't just performing for them a few months ago? I know that she tries to act all grown and she wants to drink her Tito's vodka and act like, you know, she's so edgy and whatever she's trying to do to fit in. But let's not pretend like a couple of months ago she wasn't spinning around doing a bunch of cringy dances for little kids. for children. So yeah, the 6-year-old in the crowd is probably the only one who actually knows you and is actually a fan of you. Everyone else is kind of like, well, I don't know what's going on. It's JoJo Siwa. Hell, she's pretending to be gay now, so I guess we're fans. But this is what she's trying to do. She tried to transition from a kid star to directly into like a LGBTQIA plus like icon. She's like trying to appeal more towards the gay crowd. And I just think it's weird because with everything else that's going on in the world, with all of the accusations out there, with all of the stereotypes, why would you go directly from kids to the LGBT community? You know what I mean? Like you transition from kids to the gay community. Not kids to I'm an adult, I'm making music for everyone. No, strictly from kids to this community that already has, kind of a label placed on them. About grooming kids and things like that, which is kind of what JoJo Siwa is doing. And I'm not saying that JoJo Siwa has an agenda to do anything to your kids, but the music industry does. And JoJo Siwa is just a tool. And when I see JoJo Siwa on stage, when I see her talk, when I see her interact with other people, it's obvious that she's not being herself. She's being this character that they've created for her to be. And if they created this character for her and they just straight up marketed her towards adults, I wouldn't have as much to say. But even in the character that they've created for her, even in the new look that her stylists have created, you can see that it's towing the line. It's towing the line of, oh, we want you to expose some cleavage. We want you to show more body. But we're going to put you in these colorful little costumes that appeal to 10-year-olds. Adults are going to look at you and think that you're an absolute moron. But the 9-year-olds who actually buy your music, they're going to love it. And that's why when you see JoJo Siwa these days, she always is dressed up like this. Like, kind of like something out of a sci-fi movie. I honestly can't even put my fingers on what she is. She, if anything, I would say she kind of looks like a cereal box character or something. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like she could be on the cover of a cereal box. I don't know. Maybe Disney Star Wars would like it. But yeah, it's just obvious that even in the way that they're dressing her and the way that she talks and acts, that they're still trying to toe the line. They want to do all of this edgy grown music, but they want to promote it and market it towards the same 9-year-olds that were buying her hair bows and coloring books. So I think that's wrong. And to sit here and pretend like overnight your audience is just supposed to change, that overnight your entire fan base is just supposed to age 10 or 15 years so they're old enough to listen to the music that you're making now, and they're old enough to see you rub on yourself on stage. I mean, that's just not reality. And that's why I think this is so totally wrong. And I think that should be obvious for anyone, but apparently it's not obvious for everyone. But for now, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all soon in the next one.